Welcome back to Lenz's Comic Corner Classics Non-Classics. This is episode number 1138 and Doubleshot number 1032. I got two Marvel trades. First, we're going back to a story published in 2005, though the trade was a recent release. This is a New Avengers Breakout. Yeah, this originally was published as the first trade for the New Avengers trade series, which was 13 volumes. Yes, 13 volumes. Yeah, that's unheard of nowadays, where trade paperbacks might last maybe 8 volumes before they hit the restart button, just like the Eternal Issues. Yep, written by Brian Michael Bendis, artwork by David Finch. Yep. That's who does the artwork. Yeah, David Finch is the only artist in the storyline. This storyline is basically the introduction to the new lineup of Avengers, formed by Bendis and Finch. The storyline is an introduction to two famous locations, which, as far as I can tell, both are still around, but the other one is not active much anymore. Yep. We have a brand spanking new lineup of the Avengers. Yes. Before we get to that, we have... Now, the Avengers were apparently... Here's the thing. This storyline started 1 month after Disassembled happened. And apparently 6 months have passed by since the events of Disassembled. So that means that, if you think about it, what possibly happened during those 6 months? Well, we had the return of Winter Soldier in the awesome critically acclaimed storyline by Barry Baker and Mike Perkins. We have, let's see, what else was? Oh yeah, we had the Extremis storyline happened during this period of time that I could think of. Let's see. Oh yeah, we had Secret War. Yes, Secret War, which was published after this. Yep, published after this. And let's see, anything else? No, not that I could think of. No. Well, first starts off with Daredevil. Yes, well, Daredevil in his Matt Murdock identity, him and Foggy Nelson with Jessica Drew, aka the original Spider-Woman, going to visit somebody. Who? The Sentry. Yep, the Sentry. At a place called the Raft, making its comic book debut. Yes, the Raft. Since it makes debut here, let me explain what this place is. It is a superhuman prison that is pretty much a replacement for the Vault. Yes, the Vault. The Vault was, for what I remember reading about it, I wasn't exactly reading comics at that point. I started reading comics just prior to this storyline coming out. The Vault was a prison that was basically headquartered out in, I think it was like Utah, around that area. It was simply a superhuman prison that was destroyed. It was around for a good period of time. It was destroyed at the start of the Heroes for Hire series by John Ostrander. Its most famous storyline is a graphic novel published back in the 80s called Avengers: The Vault, which basically also, here's the thing, the Vault was basically manned by a group of armored individuals known as the Mandroids. Yes, they were, in fact, the guards for the prison. They kind of similar premise here. The Raft is mostly kind of like an underwater prison. The entrance is actually, now where it is here's the thing, it's actually in New York City, but not in the city itself. It's actually underneath Rikers Island. Yeah, that's where the Raft is. And various known super criminals are kept here. People like Electro. Yes, Electro's in the storyline. Why do you think the Lightning is there? Yep. Along with the Purple, and even Mr. Hyde. Yes, Mr. Hyde is kept here. And the Sentry. Now, why is the Sentry in the Raft? He confessed to killing his wife. So, that's the reason why he's here. Now, why is Matt Murdock here? He's here as a favor for the Sentry. The Sentry, prior to this, believe it or not, his last known appearance was his own miniseries published back in 2000. Yes, from what the way the presentation of Sentry is, he is simply put a cheap ripoff of Superman. That's what the character is. Bendis, as far as I know, had nothing to do with his creation at all. Even though, yes, he did show up when Bendis started working for the company. Yeah, this is during a period of time Marvel really wanted to push Sentry so badly though he was on Marvel Comics for 5 years, being heavily pushed, until eventually he died in Siege. That came out roughly 10 years ago, believe it or not. And this storyline came out 15 years ago. Yeah, believe it or not, it's been 15 years since this really good storyline came out. And while they're there, while Foggy, Matt, and Jessica there, the lights go out and we have a riot at the Wrap. This I think referred to as a breakout. Oh yeah, and the breakout and how many people broke out this prison is quite interesting number, despite the fact a lot of it doesn't get resolved here immediately. Now, who responds to the breakout of the Raft? Innocent put like who did Jessica Drew? Who responded to Jessica Drew's call for help? Why, it's Captain America, Iron Man, not Thor. Thor at this point was still dead. Yeah, I'm not kidding about that. Thor was dead. Yeah, Thor didn't come back until 2008. Yeah, it took him 3 years to come back. Why in the world Marvel kept him dead for 3 years? I have no idea why. We also have that, let's see, well, we have Matt Murdock on his jet over costume. Luke Cage shows up too. He runs to the Pearl Man and says, hey, like, I want you to kill these superheroes. Like, and Luke Cage is like, nah, I'm gonna beat the crap out of you for basically ruining for basically interfering in my life. And also for basically ruining my wife's mental capacity. So he proceeds to beat the living crap out of him. Nearly kills him. Look how he's stopped by Captain America. Yeah, Spider-Man's here as well. Also the fact Bendis included him. The thing is, prior to this storyline, Spider-Man was an Avenger. Basically a reserve Avenger. He never took part in active Avengers missions at all because he was a big team player. With this, he's such a team player. Now, as for who basically Bendis picked for his lineup. Now, Iron Man Captain America is no brainer because these two have heavily associated with the Avengers since they started. Okay, good. My guess is the reason why that he threw in Spider-Man, 1, he's popular. 2, he was writing the ultimate version of him. And 3, he probably loved the character. Jessica Drew, because they need a woman in the lineup. That's probably the reason why. Okay, Luke Cage, big fan of the character. That's what I've heard about. That's probably the reason why he had him, because he's a big Luke Cage fan. Despite the fact he did retcon his backstory when he wrote the Avengers series. Let's see. Now, why Daredevil was included in this? Because Bendis was writing Daredevil at that point. Okay. And let's see. Anything else? Oh. And, of course, we have Breakout. And, of course, we actually have one point where I think it's Jessica Drew was threatened by the Carnage symbiote of all people. Yes, Carnage is here. Sentry, of course, is called for help. He proceeds to walk over to the Carnage symbiote, grab him, fly right up into Earth's atmosphere, and rip the man in half. Though this was later retconned to be, believe it or not, it was later retconned that Cleus Cassidy was not in the symbiote at this point. Though the symbiote came back years later in the Carnage miniseries. That's not a joke. Yeah. Okay. So for a certain period of time, Carnage was dead. Wow, Bendis. What a big shocker. Having a death in your opening story arc for your really good run for Avengers. Now, I love New Avengers run by Bendis. It is by far one of my favorite comic books when I was basically started reading comic books, because this is one comic book I really wanted to read, but the trade paperbacks were getting very hard to find, and I wasn't reading online at that point. So I had to basically search hard and wide to find these storylines, and I read this stuff, and I love this stuff. It was so good. And so, we have a breakout of the prison, and in issue 3, we have the team officially come together. Captain America recruits Iron Man, which is no brainer. But the thing is, his first recruit, now him and Iron Man are like, okay, we need to put a new team of Avengers together. Like, okay, first recruit is Spider-Man. Awesome, Bendis. This was a really good idea. Jessica Drew. Why not? Luke Cage. Good idea. And let's see. Yeah, I think that was it for recruits at that point. So, and this is where we have the introduction to Maria Hill. Yes, this is a character that... Now, I did talk to briefly about David Finch about this last night in his live stream. By the way, the raft looks like this. This is the raft, and this is a sample of David Finch's awesome artwork. I love this man's artwork. It is so freaking good. Here's him drawing. Here's how he depicts Spider-Man. Wow, it is so freaking good. Yeah, it was. A lot of people tend to pick the webbing as basically like this twig, this little piece of string. Basically, this is full on webbing. Look how close. This is how so detailed that Finch basically does. Oh yes, and those of you fans of the Peter Parker Mary Jane marriage, here they are, happily married. Yep. Though this is basically 2 years before that really stupid storyline. Yep. Captain America. Really awesome how he draws him in here. Now, yes, you're probably thinking, man, I'm just gushing over David Finch's artwork because I'm a big David Finch fan. Yeah, I am, because I love the storyline. Yeah, there's at one point where Daredevil runs into, of all people, Mr. Hyde. It's like, he thinks he's going to hurt him. Like, wait, didn't he represent you back in the 90s? That's what I thought, basically. And here's how he draws Carnage. And I thought it was Jessica Drew. I forgot it was actually Foggy Nelson. Yeah, look how awesomely drawn this page is. It's like so good. Yep. Yeah, I'm not going to show the page. Here's Mr. Hyde. Like, what the heck? Yeah, this is Mr. Hyde drawn by David Finch. Oh my gosh. He's so freaking big. And apparently Bendis forgot the fact that at one point Matt Murdock represented this man in court. Yeah. I'm like, okay. Now, basically when the Avengers put back together, Maria Hill was like, wait, you can't do that. And according to, get this, according to his Shield file, he says, oh yeah, I have a Champions license. And Spider-Man's like, I'm not joining the Champions. Like, it's a license, basically. I can perform the Avengers anytime I want to. So, yeah. We also have, and here's the debut of the Avengers Tower. Yes, another iconic landmark introduced by Brian Michael Bendis. This is his debut. Yeah, so in this storyline, he had a debut of the Avengers Tower, the Raft, the return of Edwin Jarvis, which I gotta hand it to Finch. This is a really good depiction of Edwin Jarvis. This is slightly different how he usually is depicted in comic books, but it can't. Now, I appreciate, though, I'm not sure whose idea was bringing Jarvis, but now I know they were trying to change, basically, to take Avengers' new direction, but bringing in Jarvis, kudos, Bendis. That was a terrific idea, because it can't be the Avengers without Edwin Jarvis, the butler, the Avengers butler. Yep. Which I thought was so cool, the fact that they actually did this. And the thing is, the tower itself was meant to be, well, Tony Stark's home, but he decided to donate it. Yep. He decided to donate it to the Avengers, basically the top, like, 3 floors as their base. And this was the base operations for the New Avengers for pretty much the first 47 issues of this run, before it got taken over by the Dark Avengers brief period of time. Here is Maria Hill, drawn by David Finch. Yep, this is Maria Hill's debut in issue 4, the issue 1 issue after the debut of the Avengers Tower. Yes, this is a character created by David Finch and Brian Michael Bendis. Now, Bendis is probably known for creating this character a little bit more. Yes, Finch said that he actually did draw her first appearance, but he doesn't take credit for creating this character, despite the fact Marvel has him given the cold credit for this character. If I get a chance to talk to him, I will probably ask him about that. What's going on with this credit? And I love how, look at this, Spider-Woman in her classic costume. Though she would actually ditch this in the run by Dennis Hopeless. She kept this costume for a long time. Yeah, and this is a few years prior, before they retconned, oh yeah, this Spider-Woman is a Skrull. Yep, that's Secret Invasion for you. Oh yeah, and because of the Breakout, first they go after Electro, the man who caused the Breakout, and this is by far Luke Cage's first encounter with Electro. Now here's the thing about Electro. This guy had only appeared outside of Spider-Man Comics once prior to this. And that was in Daredevil for a few issues. Yeah, he fought Daredevil a few times, but after that, he basically stuck with Spider-Man. He never appeared in any other comic. I mean, I'm sure that I'm sure that Captain America was familiar with him. I don't think he ever fought him before. And as far as I can tell, Luke Cage has never fought Elektra before. And so I was like, hey, like one episode was saying, it's like, hey, he proceeds to try to beat him up because basically he's electric and he gets knocked out. And he's like, wait, how do you get this up? Like, it doesn't. You have to wait an hour. Like, damn, I can't use my hands for a whole hour. Oh, that's so funny. And okay, so they have had such for one particular breakout. Carl Lycos, Stegoron. Yes, the character created by Neil Adams back during the classic X-Men days, not the Chris Claremont run, the original run. So they go to all places to Savage Land, where they run into Wolverine. Yep, Wolverine. Why is he here? Because Stegoron's an X-Men villain. Why the heck not? And with these set of issues, Wolverine joins the team. And Maria Hill decides to cover up this illegal thing by basically arresting the corrupt agents and decided to sweep this whole thing under the rug. As for who was one behind the breakout, it's not immediately revealed. Also, here's the thing. By the time of Civil War 1 started up the very next year in 2006, not all the criminals have been rounded up. They wrapped up. They probably captured, by the end of this story, they captured, now there were 42 criminals confirmed to escape from the raft. They captured 2 people. And here's also something interesting, though. 14 of these people who broke out were legally dead for years. So, yes, there were some underhanded tactics of S.H.I.E.L.D., which we investigated later. This is a great storyline. Yes, it does come after a very controversial and Avengers Assembled. Now, this is from the Marvel Select Edition. Now, interesting though, they chose Breakout as part of the Marvel Select Edition. Now, the original trade paperback was released in 2005. Yes, this one was actually just last year. Yeah, I got this for like $25 at Barnes & Noble. It was a great buy, and this is one trade paperback I actually did want to get for some time. I love this run for New Avengers, so I figured though, why not? It's something I want to pick up for a long time. I'm gonna get this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's an absolute fantastic storyline. Alright, next up, moving to very recent stuff. Last year, same time this trade came out, though the original storyline came out in 2005. This is Miss Marvel Team Up, written by E.V.L. Ewing. E.V.L. Ewing, yep. And the artwork is done for the first 3 issues by Joey Vasquez with Maury R. in issue 3. The issues 4 through 6. And E.V.L. Ewing does first 3 issues 4 through 6, done by Clint McClure, and artist is done by I.G. Guru. Now, basically, this is basically a return of Marvel Team Up. Yeah, they brought this back last year, mainly due to Marvel's 80th anniversary. So why not pick a classic title like Marvel Team Up? And instead of having Spider-Man highlight the title, like he did for the first 2 volumes, not the case. 3rd volume, basically the whole Marvel Universe headlined that book. This book is headlined by Kamala Khan. And it was only 6 issues. Yeah, I have no idea why this was 6 issues. The first 3 issues is, well, and this I thought was a brilliant stroke of genius on the part of E.V. Ewing, teaming up Camilla with Spider-Man, because she had a team with him in that awesome 2-parter that came prior to Spider-Verse back, I think it was like 2014, I think it was. Yeah, which was the last time in which they said that, oh yeah, we met before, and this is the second time they team up, and they team up take on the Jackal of all people. Yes, the Jackal. And of course, as I'm mentioning about, yeah, during the course of the story, I keep on thinking that what's up with this back cover? Why does it look like that Peter's putting on this Marvel costume and Camilla putting on Spider-Man costume? Well, there's a reason for that, and that reason is body swap storyline. Yep. And to make a reference to the Spirit of Spider-Man when Dr. Octopus took Spider-Man's body for a joyride for a whole year. Which apparently half the Marvel Universe was going to be complete buffoons. The fact that nobody bothered to even take notes about this. Yes, even Slott wrote the Avengers to be complete idiots. Good thing he didn't write Iron Man to be an idiot. Probably because he knew he rated the character a few years. Yep. The storyline itself is really good and great chemistry between Spider-Man and Miss Marvel. Next team up is, well, the one on the cover. Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel. Good idea. They have worked together before. And this... Now, here's the thing. Now, in the first set of issues, she's wearing the original costume that made its debut during G. Willow Wilson run. This costume, the cover, is set... Now, from what I can tell, the first 3 issues are set toward the end of G. Willow... Probably set just after G. Willow Wilson's run, and before the start of Magnificent Miss Marvel. This is set after that. And they write, though, apparently, that... Now, here's the thing. At the end of the first volume of Kamala Khan's run, Miss Marvel, she revealed to her parents that she was Miss Marvel. And apparently her mother completely forgot the fact that she was Miss Marvel. How in the world does a woman who is the age she is forget about that? And she has to be like the important person. So Captain Marvel has to come up with an excuse to get her out of the house. So meet a physicist who's Pakistani, just like she is. They run into some other person who turned out to be the guy who Captain Marvel, the original one, stole his identity. Yeah. And the stuff with the Kree here, which that was pretty good. But the storyline itself is just pure fun. And mostly put, it's kind of a love letter to the original Captain Marvel. And I appreciate the fact they did that. I kind of wish this was a longer series than just 6 issues. But... great series overall. Give this book roughly a 9 out of 10. Great book. I kind of wish we had more of this because teaming up with Spider-Man and Miss Marvel, that was good. Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel, that was completely obvious. But why not do more team-ups? Why just Spider-Man and Captain Marvel? I get why Spider-Man because, well, they have teamed up before, so not a bad idea there. And in the case of Captain Marvel, makes perfect sense. I mean, heck, they could do a whole series of this basically doing various Avengers together, which would have been fine. Except that these two have their own separate titles. Fine, whatever. But you could continue Camilla with other people. Oh yeah, and also, during the storyline, she figures out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Yep, she does. Though, who else will I have her team up with? Well, they could have had... her team up with various members of the Champions. That would have been nice. Like Sam Alexander Nova. The Miles Morales Spider would have been nice. Let's see. Who else could team up with? Would have been interesting to see with Iron Man for an issue. That would have been interesting. Yeah, and even Iron Man, despite the fact Iron Man is known for being a womanizer, even he would not hit on a teenager. I mean, yes, Kamala Khan is a beautiful woman. But even he would not stoop so low to hit on a teenager. Yeah, that's not Tony Stark for you. He would never do that. But I think he might treat her like his own daughter. And probably treat her like a good relationship. Now, I do think they should have probably like another team up with her and Spider-Man. Because I thought that was really good. And it was great chemistry between the two of them. And like, why not do more team ups? Yeah. I don't see why not. In the case of her and Captain Marvel, that one happens all the time, so it's nothing really big there. Who else got a team besides, well, the various members of Champions, of course, Miss Marvel and Spider-Man? Let's see. I don't know if she can along with Captain America or not. I have no idea. Thor, she might have interesting time with him, though I think even he will allow her to drink alcohol. Black Panther might be interesting. Let's see. Any other team-ups I could think of she probably could do? Ironheart might be a good choice. Yes, Ironheart. Especially since, well, E. Ewing wrote the Ironheart book, so why not? Yeah, why not? I don't see why not. But if you want to think of one particular character, there'd be a couple of characters I think Marvel would probably either, one, they probably would not allow this to happen, or two, it'd just be so bizarre. Like, why is she team with either Blade or the Punisher? Like, Punisher should probably just knock him out for being a mass murderer. Blade, I don't think she even cared to team with Blade. Doctor Strange might be interesting. Yeah. And I'm sure she would love to have a team up with the Nydia, the current Wasp, Nydia, the Nydia Pin Wasp. That would be interesting. Well, all in all, that's it for this particular review. Well, I don't know if I get time to do a One Piece review today. If not, I'll save it for tomorrow with the review of the newest episode of Black Clover. Yep, Black Clover. And maybe I'll do another comic horror tomorrow. It's possible, okay? But to this next video. Bye.